What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another trailer reaction. My name's Big Cam, and today we are talking about another Amazon original coming July 2nd to Amazon Prime. And this movie's called Heads of State, starring John Cena, Idris Elba, and Priyanka Chopra Jonas? Hell of a name, but I believe she was in The Boys. But I kind of like her, and she's playing like a badass like agent here in this movie that, you know, survives it all and is the one trying to protect these two heads of state. And John Cena, I believe, is playing some former action star president, which isn't too far off in the United States at these points. And I believe Idris Elba is playing the Prime Minister of the UK or something like that. But let's jump right onto this trailer, shall we? Because this had equal parts action but humor. It has John Cena and Idris Elba back together. You know, last time they were together was James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, so I feel like they had a great time together on that, so they were like, hey, we should do something else, and Amazon was like, we got something for you. But let's jump right on into the beginning of this trailer, shall we?
Open the door!
Cam, incoming!
I hate to interrupt a kick-off slow-mo explosion, but we should probably introduce who's who in the burning vehicle. That's UK's Prime Minister, aka the President of England, Sam Clark, US President / action movie star Will Derringer, and MI6's top agent, Noel Basset.
Wow, very action-packed start to this trailer. You know, he's getting stabbed in the leg, they kick him out a door, and yeah, the friggin' rocket launcher comes inbound, kind of hits the back of them, and they got this MI6 agent in the back, kind of in between the both of them. John Cena and her are fighting people in the back, and they got the UK Prime Minister, friggin' Idris Elba, driving the friggin' thing. And yeah, so then all of a sudden it cuts into like this narrator's voice, and he's like, hey, I hate to interrupt a kick-ass slow-mo explosion, but we should probably introduce everybody here, right? And then introduces the President of England, Sam Clark, and then the US President, action movie star, Will Derringer, and then the MI6's top agent, Noel Basset. And on to the next portion of this trailer where we'll find out what's been going down over the last 24 hours.
24 hours ago, somebody shot down Air Force One over unfriendly territory. And these two made it out. Now, they'll embark on a breathtaking adventure.
Endurance is tough for guys like you. Guys like me. Guys like you. You know, Jim Strong. As opposed to Strong. You want to see Jim Strong? I'll rip a tree out of the ground and beat you to death with it, huh? Go on then. Rip that tree out and beat me to death with it. So I thought, pick the biggest tree.
Obviously, they're going to need a little help.
So, the Air Force One has been shot down, and maybe everyone dies, but it seems like these two have found parachutes and survived somehow. But they landed in enemy territory, so now they have to go on foot to find their way back, and then I'm guessing they dispatch this MI6 agent to find them, and then that's how they end up, you know, together again. But it seems they're out in the woods, and it's gonna start off bumpy, and it's almost Peacemaker talking to Bloodsport at this point, but he's like, you know, endurance is hard for guys like you. And he's like, guys like me? He goes, Jim Strong, I'll show you Jim Strong. You want me to rip a tree out of the ground and beat you to death with it? He goes, okay. Rip that tree out of the ground and beat me to death. He goes, well, you picked the biggest tree. If you'd picked a smaller tree, or maybe a more dead tree, I could rip it out of the ground and beat you with it. And he's like, yeah, whatever. And then the narrator says, obviously they're going to need a little bit of help. And by the end of this trailer, I love that we find out not only who the narrator is, but I just thought it was interesting how they played that whole thing, like who this narrator's voice is, and then like what happens to him. And it's like, huh? Wait, what? But on to the next portion of the trailer.
Which is where we come in. That's me, by the way. Now it's up to my elite team of 6. Okay, 5. All right, 3. She's 1. Oh, no. Wait, then how did she...
I'll tell you.
Okay, the bulletproof vest. I mean, not original, but it works.
So we see that Murdoch from the A-Team, I don't know the actor's real name, he's the narrator and he's the leader of this MI6 team, and he's like running surveillance or something, and he's like, alright, so these guys are gonna need some help, this is where we come in. And now I got my elite team of 6, and then we see all of the members of his team get wiped out, and then it's just down to her, and we actually see her get shot too, but she's got a bulletproof vest on, so she's still alive. Then we see kind of like a campy looking version of like a motorcycle ripping through various different like terrains, like in a sunflower field, and then a rainy city, and then a mountainside, you know, and then she's kicking down doors looking for these guys and beating people up and tasing them. And then this guy at the end looks awfully familiar with the white hair and the glasses, but I can't put my tongue on who that is, but he looks familiar for some reason. But, you know, so she's, you know, using this guy to find these guys, but he's like, okay, the bulletproof vest, not original, but I mean, it works. And then it says this summer. But on to the next portion of the trailer.
It's a real nut punch in a Ziploc bag out there. Now they're on the run and need to keep their heads down.
Yankees?
No. Canadians. How do you say Canadians? Everybody loves Americans. Americans love Americans. Today we're Canadians, trust me.
And do whatever it takes to stop World War III, even if it means sucking on sheep nipples.
Who sucks on sheep nipples?
Nobody sucks on sheep nipples.
Okay, God.
All caught up? Good. Cue the music.
I love at the beginning of that, we see that Jack Quaid is also a part of this band of misfits here, and he will also be in this movie, and he goes, it's a real nut punch in a Ziploc bag out there. And then we cut to John Cena getting punched in the nuts. And I was like, oh, that was just good editing. But what kind of line is that? It's a real nut punch in a Ziploc bag out there. Just getting punched in the nuts over and over again, and then trapping that feeling of punched nuts in a Ziploc bag, sealing it shut. I don't know. But yeah, we see also, is that freaking Helen Mirren? I don't think so. But they're like, you know, hey, are you Yankees? He's like, no, Canadians. He's like, why'd you say Canadians? Everybody loves Americans. And he goes, no, Americans love Americans. Trust me, today we're Canadians. Probably true. The world hates us. Hey, we agree with you. I think Americans hate Americans as well. But they're doing whatever it takes to stop World War III, even if it means sucking sheep nipples. And we see it, sheep's udders dragging itself across John Cena's face. And she's like, who sucks on sheep nipples? And he's like, no one! And he kicks down the door, and she's like, geez, okay. Clearly nobody sucked on nipples in his future, or past. But then the narrator says, all cut up, cue to music. On to the next portion of this trailer.
Music.
The world thinks I look cool with a gun in my hand.
That was a quick cut, but still, I just thought it was hilarious. Like, they cue the music, he blows off a dusty CD, and then, like, we have diegetic music now. And then he's like, we see some explosions, we see them beating ass, and then he's like, it's like, armed and dangerous, and he's like, the world thinks I look cool with a gun in my hands. And then we cut to him in an actual situation when he needs to have a gun in his hands, and then he shoots, by accident, their driver, and the friggin' the MI6 agent and then the guy that she's defending both look at him like, come on, man, you just shot this guy by accident. And he's like, oh, shit. But on to the rest of the trailer, just to end it out here.
I got this.
Follow me, boys.
How are you alive? I just kept calm and carried on.
Heads of State. Catch us only on Prime on July 5th. Ah, come on! Can we just do one trailer where you don't give everything away?
I just did another one of these trailers called The Pickup that's also coming to Amazon Prime. I feel like they were both edited by the same guy, but either way, Idris Elba at one point looks like he's going to be on fire, and then he jumps into like a stairwell, grabs onto like a zip line cord, and then he's like zipping down this stairwell while on fire. And then it looks like there might be a little tiny bit of a love story between Priyanka Chopra Jonas and Jack Quaid's character, which I believe both of them are from The Boys, so, you know, maybe if there's a little love story there, I wouldn't mind. I'd be like, ooh, I'm a sucker for a love story, I'm into it. But she's also a badass MI6 agent in this, so she seems like she's going to be kicking all types of ass. Jack Quaid looks like he's going to be kicking ass too in this, you know, at least with guns and shooting and stuff, and coming off of Novocaine for him, kind of like that as well. If you haven't seen Novocaine, that's out on Paramount Plus. That was an interesting movie. But we also see a crazy looking stunt where a fire truck is on fire and Idris Elba jumps from the fire truck back to the limousine, and then the fire truck flips over, which looks like a pretty practical stunt there, just narrowly missing their car as John Cena's like over the back of the guy he shot trying to steer the thing, and he's like, "How are you alive?" And he just says, "I kept calm and carried on," which is like 2005 wants their t-shirt back. But heads of state, and he says, "Catch us only on Prime in July," and the narrator of this entire story then someone has him in their sights and he gets shot, and then it says, "Oh, come on, can we just do one trailer where we don't give everything away?" Wait, so this MI6 guy, the narrator, everything that's going on, they all get assassinated, and then it's just down to this one MI6 girl, Jack Quaid, John Cena, and Idris Elba to stop World War III? I don't know what's going to happen in this movie. I feel like it's going to be campy and weird and probably dumb, but looks pretty good nonetheless. Coming July 2nd, so less than a month away to Amazon Prime. Interesting. Story by Harrison Query. Screenplay by Joseph Applebaum, Andre Nemec, and Harrison Query. And directed by Ila Nyashuler. Ila Nyashuler is the director. I think I got pretty close on that one, but what a name. A couple of great actors in this. I do love Idris Elba and John Cena back together. That's great. Jack Quaid, the other girl. I think this cast is pretty great, and I think that the Priyanka is going to be pretty badass, and seeing her in a role like this is cool, where she's going to be kicking and punching and fighting and shooting and defending and being like an MI6 badass agent. I like that kind of stuff. And John Cena's the president, but he's also like this action movie star. And then Idris Elba, we don't know his background so much, but he's like the president of the UK or like the prime minister or something. I don't know, man. That seems interesting. Seems dumb, but also interesting. But maybe it's going to be pretty funny. Who knows? I'm not sure what else is going to happen in that movie. This trailer didn't give too much away, I don't think. But comment below your thoughts about Heads of State coming to Amazon Prime. And comment below your thoughts about John Cena right now. Maybe you're a hater and you've been watching wrestling and you don't like what he's been doing. Or maybe you really like what he's been doing with the heel turn in wrestling. Also comment below, will you be watching Peacemaker Season 2 in August? That should be exciting. I don't think he will show up in the Superman movie though, coming out in July, which is very exciting. But my name is Big Cam. Thank you guys for all coming by. If you've made it this far in the video, please consider supporting the channel. The best way to do that is liking this video, commenting down below, subscribing if you haven't already. Make sure you hit that bell so you don't miss future videos when they come out and you'll get the notifications. Thank you guys so much. If you want to follow my other social medias, links for those down in the description below. And once again, my name is Big Cam, and I will see you beautiful people in the next one. Peace.